What up, Triton College student athletes? How you doing today?
Good.
Man, the men's and women's teams are playing Rock Valley today. I thought you guys would be a little more excited. Come on, one more time. How you doing today?
Good.
All right. That's much better. Thank you. Well, my name's Tyler Kleeman, and I'm really excited to be here to speak to all of you today. And before we get into my presentation, which as you can see is called Pathway to Your Best, I just want to tell everyone a really quick story about a friend of mine that grew up in my neighborhood. So he was a popular guy. He had a lot of friends, was cool, was an athlete, stuff like that. But he made a lot of mistakes starting at a young age that really held him back from being a better athlete, a better student, and a better person. And I remember when we were young, he started picking up some bad habits. I remember he started smoking weed like every day. Like he started trying weed, and it began to be a habit for him where he felt like he had to go every day, doing that every single day. He tried cigarettes, and he started drinking alcohol excessively and started really partying a lot. And these mistakes that he was making had a really big impact on him in a lot of ways. They first had an impact on him in sports. I remember when we were on the basketball team in high school, I remember that word had gotten out to the coaches that he was making these mistakes, because when you do those kind of things, word usually gets out. And the coaches they had a little sit down with him, and they were like, hey, we like your game. We think that you have, we want you on the team next year, but we need to see that you are, working this summer, not doing these things, not making these mistakes, and really working on your game and getting better. So he didn't really listen to the coaches that much. I mean, he definitely was going to some of the summer camps and playing in the summer league games, but he continued to hang around the wrong people and do the wrong things. And I remember when we had tryouts, they were making the cuts for the team, and he got cut from the basketball team. And I remember all of his friends were like really upset because they wanted him to be on the team. And I remember that was like the worst day of his life. He was crying and just so sad, and it was like he wished that he could go back and start all over and not make those mistakes that he knew that cost him his chance to play for that team. So not only did they have an impact on him athletically, but they really started to impact his health. Once freshman year of college came around, they have, I know they call it the freshman 15, where you gain weight in college. He put on a lot of weight his first year, and because he was still partying and not eating healthy and just not treating his body very well. And I remember one time we all went to the gym to go play some pickup basketball games, and he was like huffing and puffing, like he couldn't even get up and down the court. And his friends were like making fun of him. They were like, man, like what happened to you? Like you used to be able to just run up and down no problem, and now you can barely get up and down the court. And it was just a really embarrassing day for him. And then on top of that, his partying and his habits had an impact on him with the law. He got into multiple fist fights, which could have been, he's really fortunate that those situations weren't much worse than what they were. And it actually got so bad that he made the terrible decision to drink and drive, and he got a DUI. So he got arrested, got his car taken away, and he had to go to jail, and he was literally just ashamed of himself. It was like by far the worst day of his life, and he was thinking about what he was going to have to tell his mom and his family about that situation happening. Fortunately, he was able to work his way out of the trouble, and he had to, eventually got his car back, but he had to pay a lot of lawyer fees, and it was just really embarrassing to him that he felt like he was wasting a lot of money on things money that he could have been saving, and then also just going through that really terrible experience. So the person that I'm actually telling you about is actually the person that I used to be. So these are all mistakes that I've made in my life. And while I'm extremely embarrassed and ashamed to talk about these types of things, it also wants me to really talk about how excited I am about my life today and the completely different person that I am now. And it really motivates me to motivate you not to make the same types of mistakes that I made or do the things that I did that ruined a part of my life. So fast forward to now, I actually work for one of the top technology companies in Chicago. I'm in sales for them, and I work in an office downtown, so I get up every day, go to an office in downtown Chicago. I get on airplanes for business presentations, and I put on suits and I shake hands with CEOs and vice presidents of companies. I was just in New York City a couple months ago for my job, And I just love it. I work with great people. I learn new things every day. I have awesome bosses. And I'm just so thankful to work at such a great place and have a great career. I'm also a 29-year-old entrepreneur. I started my own business, my own motivational speaking business. I go to different schools in the Chicagoland area right now, and I've spoken to hundreds of student athletes just like you. And I love it. I love speaking. It's something that I really, really enjoy. And being able to help young people and also have this kind of entrepreneurial business mindset that I have is something that I really, really enjoy. So, my reason for telling that to all of you is because I know that we're all not perfect and we all make mistakes, but we can all bounce back and really focus on the future. And a lot of it has to do with decisions that we make and how hard that we work. And someone else who has gone through a lot of tough situations and had to work really hard is Jimmy Butler. Do we have any Jimmy Butler fans in the room? I bet you seem like you're a big Jimmy Butler fan. All right. Nice. Well, I know you guys probably all know that Jimmy Butler is an all-star player for the Chicago Bulls. And you may have heard his story, but I do just want to share his life story with you really quickly. When he was 13 years old, he was actually kicked out of his house. He was homeless through high school. He had to crash on different teammates' couches just to have somewhere to stay. Fortunately, his senior year of high school, he was adopted by a family that went to high school with him. And they brought him in literally as if he is their own family. And to this day, he calls them family as if they're blood. And not only did he have to go through that really difficult situation, life experience, being homeless through high school, but his road to NBA stardom was not as easy as you may think. He actually played a year of junior college basketball at first, so he was a junior college athlete. Then went to Marquette University, then was drafted by the Bulls. And when the Bulls drafted him, he was not expected to be this all-star, megastar player that he is now. He had to work so hard to get to where he is now. So I actually read that for the last 2 summers, he got up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day and worked out up to 5 times every day. He cut off his cable, cut off his internet, didn't have a TV, literally just ate, slept, and worked out. That's all he did. And it just really shows how much work he put into that, and now being the star that he is, it's just amazing to see that hard work can really pay off. He's also had some really great mentors along the way. You guys know who Mark Wahlberg is, the Hollywood actor? Yeah, so Mark Wahlberg is actually his mentor. So he meets with Mark Wahlberg all the time, and Mark Wahlberg's really encouraged him to be smart with his money, to make good decisions, not to party, to focus on basketball and really get better at his sport. And I just think it's really awesome. It's really inspiring for me to see someone like that's achieved such great success, work so hard every day to keep getting better and better. So I actually do want to show a quick video of kind of a before and after. So I'm going to show a video that's an interview with him and actually the family that I talked about that adopted him. And they'll talk about that experience that he went through. And then I want to show a quick after video where Mark Wahlberg and him are walking through LA. And Mark Wahlberg says that Tom Brady is the Jimmy Butler of football. And I just think it's a really, really cool way to see the before and after and realize that he truly is like Hollywood celebrity. He signed a $100 million contract with the Bulls. He's got the paparazzi chasing him in LA. He's hanging out with celebrities. He's really achieved stardom. And I think it's just awesome to see where he came from to where he is now. So we're going to watch these videos real quick.
You have blessings probably for enough for 10 people. Isn't that the truth?
It is, but I wouldn't be the guy that I am today. I feel like the obstacles and everything I had to go through to get to where I am that made me who I am, I wouldn't change any of it.
Like every good country song, there's life, there's love, and there's heartache. Jimmy Butler's story starts in tiny Tomball, a town of about 10,000, just 40 miles outside of Houston. True or false? Jimmy Butler, NBA cowboy. There it is.
There it is. True.
And the belt buckle.
And the belt buckle.
Texas forever.
Texas, you know it. That's where I'm from.
He's always loved the heat of competition, but the heat in Texas is another story. As a kid, Butler's passion changed from one sport to the next.
Truthfully, first I started off playing football, but I stopped whenever I was like in 6th, 7th grade. So I was always a big football fan. Being from Texas, football's baseball's big. I think basketball made me third. But then I wasn't a fan of the sun, wasn't a fan of the heat. Plus, I was tiny. I was like 5'3". Everybody else started growing. I was like, I don't want to get crushed. I'm gonna move inside to the AC, shoot at the orange rim. And that's when like the love of basketball came along.
At home, life wasn't that simple, mostly because at times there wasn't one. By 13, Jimmy was out on his own, bouncing from couch to couch, until the summer before his senior year in high school, when he met a freshman named Jordan Leslie.
He doesn't open up too much, but I mean, you kind of get the gist of it. And I mean, I was always like, man, you can stay tonight. My mom won't care. And then I'd just be like, oh, just one more night. And it just kind of developed into a week and then a month.
For Jimmy, the transition was both cautious and quiet.
He hid from us. He stayed upstairs and wouldn't come downstairs and send Jordan down to get him food. So I guess he thought if he wasn't seen, no one would know he was there.
I felt like if nobody knew I was there, they couldn't get tired of me.
He never left. A house became a home. Friends became family. And with their love and support, Jimmy started to flourish on and off the court.
It is hard because, you know, people say you just take a child you don't even know. And, you know, and people think different things and say different things. And not to say that someone didn't come to me and say, oh, don't let him in. He's supposedly he's done this. You've got to go with your gut. He's brought more to us than ever we could bring to him.
There it goes. Goodness gracious.
I did pretty good for a long time.
That's them. That's family. That's what that is. And you know, people say, "Oh, that's not blood." Well, I feel like family is who you love. You know, who you always want to be around. Who's there for you with your holidays? Who's there for your first game, for your first start? You know, things like that. And if you were to ask me those questions, they were always there. And I have nothing against anybody else, but I know whenever you ask me my family, you'll get those names, you'll get those people.
As he also keeps in close contact with some of his blood relatives, especially his older brother and sister. Meanwhile, basketball was no longer just an outlet. After starring at Tomball High, Butler landed at Tyler Junior College, where then Marquette assistant coach Buzz Williams saw him while recruiting another player.
He watched me play. The very first thing he said to me was, "Jimmy, you suck." I was like, "Oh, I don't even know you. Like, I don't, you know, like I'm a kid." I'm just like, that's cool.
But Jimmy's relentless game started to grow on Williams. And when he became the head coach at Marquette, he called Butler at 2 a.m. to offer him a scholarship. Then Jimmy faced his next challenge.
I thought that he would potentially end up being the difference maker, which is why he wanted to go home, because I was extremely difficult in coaching him, because I thought that he could evolve into being a guy towards the end of the year that could help us.
Like I was always like, I want to come home. I want to transfer. Like, because he was so hard on me. Like I was so far away from home, you know, homesick. I'm still a kid.
Eventually, the tough love would turn to motivation. Thriving by his senior season, Jimmy caught the eye of the Bulls.
With the 30th pick in the 2011 draft, the Chicago Bulls select Jimmy Butler from Marquette University.
Like I instantly burst out into tears with my mom, because I just felt like all the hard work that I've done, like all the people that tell me that I wouldn't amount to anything, that I couldn't be an NBA player, that I wouldn't get my degree, I wouldn't go to college, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But more than anything, it was I proved myself right. I could care less about proving them wrong. I wanted to prove to myself that if I said I could do it, I put my mind to it, and I did it.
He waited for his chances to play during his rookie season while working on his game and finding another family in the Bulls organization.
The bond that we have, it's one of a kind. Like everybody wants to be around each other. You know, we see each other so much every day on the court that you think when we have a chance to be away from each other, you want to get away from each other, but that's not the case. Everybody has, you know, their families to attend to, but I feel like when we do have the chance, we all want to do something together, even if that's go to a movie or go get dinner or just hang out in somebody's room on the road. I feel like that's a big part of team success because we know each other not only on the court but off the court, and we know when somebody's down or when somebody's really happy. Like, I think that's a big part of being more than just a basketball player, but being a great person, great teammate, and just knowing your guys well.
The organization is amazing. The players are amazing. Where you see some teams that have different players and they kind of get in trouble, and you just don't see this from this team. And this coach, you just don't. He doesn't put up with that. So that makes you feel good.
And with injuries piling up this season, it opened up more opportunities for number 21. Like every other adversity in his life, Jimmy Butler is meeting the challenge and showing the NBA that his future is bright.
You can't say enough about how he made the team function well, and everything he did was move towards winning. It says a lot. It's also who he is. He just wants to win.
I feel like we always talk about it with my teammates, with my coaches, that the more reps that you get, that's the more confidence you gain.
One of the two, there's the... Stop it! Jimmy Butler goes upstairs!
Your chance is going to come.
Even down in Texas, his family stays close by. They try to make trips up to see him every month during the season, and the bond is unbreakable.
I mean, I know he feels that he's blessed, but I mean, we're just as blessed. I mean, someone that's gone through so much and can still smile every day. I mean, he might be a jerk sometimes and stuff like that, but I mean, we all know.
Loving all the time.
We all know he loves us, and I mean, I feel blessed to have him in my life.
It's been a winding road from Tomball, Texas to the Windy City. There's been adversity and life lessons along the way. Jimmy Butler is ready for the next challenge with plenty of support. Considering your early childhood, how fortunate do you feel to have that, happen in your life?
It's a blessing, to have people that are always in your corner, no matter what, to always be on your side. And if you need anything, they're willing to give you. That's the last penny that they have to the shirt on their back. I think a lot of people would like to have that. And having people in your corner like that just lets you know that you can be successful, that no matter what happens, if you fail or if you succeed, they're always going to have your back. They're always going to look at you as the same person, that little kid from Tomball who was ripping and running with the snotty nose.
Man, I just love that story. I think it's awesome, and I want to get everyone's kind of feedback on it, but I do want to hop into the after of Jimmy Butler. So now I want to show just a little clip of him hanging out in LA, being followed by the paparazzi with Mark Wahlberg, just to kind of show really where he came.
Hey Mark, are you trying to recruit Jimmy to the Lakers?
Celtics, I got you.
What are you guys talking about, man?
Enjoy your lunch. Sorry to disturb you guys.
Think about coming to the Lakers, Jimmy? Come on, man. Jimmy Bucket sounds great out in Hollywood, man.
Yo, Mark, explain your love for
Jimmy
Tom
go
Brady.
Anywhere he wants to go, and they got to pay a lot of money.
Hey, explain your love
That's
for Tom
what you do
Brady.
for the most improved player.
Hey, you think the NFL went too hard on Tom Brady?
Brady's our guy.
Tom Brady is
Yeah,
the best.
you called him an American hero and a cultural icon.
Tom Brady is
Going back to back.
is the Jimmy Butler of football.
Jimmy Butler of football.
He's the best.
Also, he's making a cameo in Ted 2. Is he
And
funny?
Entourage.
Is he a good actor?
Great actor. Great actor.
Movie star.
Excuse me, I'm different. Sit up front.
What up, J-Dog? What's up, brother?
Everything good? I'm living at Vita Loca.
You guys acting in the movie back then? You taking them home, dude?
Hey, what about Entourage tickets, dude?
I don't have any. They didn't give me any.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Say
All
hi
right,
to
man.
Jeremy Piven for me. Ha, ha, ha.
All right, so questions, comments, anything that comes to mind to you guys, just seeing kind of what he's been through and where he's came. Any comments? Nothing?
How do you relate to Jimmy Butler?
Well, I just think that, the things that it's been really inspiring for me, because as I shared, I've been through some really tough things in life and tough situations, and to be able to bounce back from it, I think is just really, really exciting, and it's awesome to see someone that's so successful that is not perfect. It's we all make mistakes, and I think we've all done things that we might not be proud of. So I think it's just really cool to see how much he's fought back. So, Amanda, the Bulls hat doesn't have any comments. I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just kidding. All right, so I really want to talk about the hard work, dedication, and developed habits that it took for myself and Jimmy Butler to get to where we are now. I'm all about living with purpose, and I want to encourage everyone in this room to live with purpose. The reason I want to share these tips with you is because I want to see each and every one of you succeed in life. I want to see the program at Triton College exceed academically and athletically. I'm excited to have continuous involvement with the program here at Triton, and want to ensure that all of you are on the pathway to your best, academically, character-wise, athletically, and personally. I strongly encourage you, each and every one of you, to be on the pathway to your best, and I promise that you won't regret it. So really the first principle here is to be on the pathway to your best. I've kind of identified some principles here, and I think number one is to really identify and commit to your purpose. So number one is to identify your purpose. And you might be saying to yourself, what is my purpose? And I know for myself, I had experienced success early in my career after I graduated college in sales. I actually made the President's Club for my company, which is recognized as one of the top awards for being a top sales performer. But I felt like something was missing. I felt like there was something more that I wanted to do with my life. And I had actually got involved in a couple different programs and spoken to some different basketball teams. And I really just I felt this feeling where I felt like it was something that I was really called to do. I felt like it was a purpose for my life. And I think that it requires all of us to do some kind of self-examination or really reflection. So what is that one thing that I really am passionate about? What is something that really gives me a lot of joy in life? And it may not just be one thing. You are all student athletes. Those are two extremely important purposes in life. I'm a sales professional and a speaker. So I'm not saying that you have to, whittle it down to one little thing. Also, being a family member, being a son or a daughter or a mother or a father, there's a lot of different types of purposes. But I just want to encourage everyone to really do some self-reflection and really determine what is something that I really want to do with my life, and really commit to that purpose. So whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, really commit to it and go all in. So it's not something that you should be wishy-washy about. Something that you should really put constant repetition into, just like the sports that you play, constantly working on your game, constantly getting better. I don't just come up here and speak. This is something that I practice dozens of times. It's something that I prepare and I strategize. And there's a lot that goes into it. Same thing with my career. It's a very day in and day out repetitive job that sometimes gets a little old, but I just remind myself that it's really important to always be, to always go all in and always be consistent. I think it's really important to put in overtime. If you play a sport and practice is over at 6 o'clock at night, I'm just throwing out an example, I don't think that means that you should be done. I believe that you should dedicate another hour to working out or working on your game or doing whatever it is to get better at what you're doing. I do not believe that doing just the minimum to get by is enough. And be consistent, like I mentioned, and work smarter, not harder. I believe that you might be looking at number one and number three and thinking, oh, well, if I'm putting in overtime, but you're telling me to not work harder, what does that really mean? What I'm saying is I think it's important not to overwork yourself or overexhaust yourself, and I like to really recharge my batteries. So, if let's say you're a basketball player and you get out of practice at 6 and you want to get 200 shots up, and you think it's going to take you till 8 o'clock, but you're done by 7. Don't force yourself to stay till 8 o'clock. If you're exhausted and you feel like it's time to go home and you need to get some sleep, I just think it's really important to really be able to be aware of that. And also really believe in yourself. Tune out the haters. There's going to be haters, there's going to be naysayers, there's going to be critics, there's going to be people that doubt you. I've experienced it time and time again and still experience it in my life today. And it's so important to have what I call tunnel vision, just to really focus on the task at hand, constantly be aware of your goals and not let anyone that doubts you, don't let that get to your head. And I think another important way to do that is through positive affirmations. That's affirming to yourself that you are great. So I know that when I started speaking, I literally would wake up in the morning, look at myself in the mirror and say, I am a great motivational speaker. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I believe that it's a really important aspect to success. So in the morning, you can remind yourself that you are a great athlete, you are a great student. And if you really say these things to yourself, you're going to believe it. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. I know that we all have family members and friends and coaches and athletic directors that believe in us, and I'm not saying that they don't, but if no one wants to help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. So if they don't see that you don't believe in yourself, they're going to believe in you less. So just want to encourage everyone to really, really always believe in themselves and what they're about. This one is really, really huge. I feel like I could talk about this all day. I won't for time's sake, but surround yourself with the right people and remove the wrong people from your life. Really think about it. Think about the people, I've shared with you things that I've gone through in my life. I know that there's people that want to get you to go out and turn up and drink and smoke and party and all that stuff. But what are they really doing with their life? What are they really doing with their life? Are they a student athlete? Do they have a 3.5 GPA? Are they an excellent at their sport? And I'm not saying you have to hang out with athletes or necessarily hang out with students. But if you're not hanging around someone that's not in school or maybe not done with school or doesn't have a good job, what are they really doing with their life? Really think about that. So I just want to encourage everyone to really be aware of the people that you surround yourselves with and the things that they may do to try to bring you down. And I know that it's really hard to just kind of pull like the disappearing act and run away, but I think the easiest way is just to stay busy. Just stay busy. Someone calls you and they want you to go get into trouble. I'm sorry, I've actually got to study for this test. I've got a big test on Monday, I'm getting ready for it. Or, I'm actually going to go to the gym and work out. I didn't get a chance to get my workouts in as good this week as I wanted to. Or we had a long day of practice and I'm just really tired. I'm going to just throw on a movie and go to sleep. What are they really going to say to you? Are they going to get mad at you because you're telling them that you're busy, that you're working on getting better at your life? That just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not saying you have to disappear from people that might be bad influences on you or might do things that you probably shouldn't be doing, but just keep yourselves busy and find the right mentors. This is huge. Notice that I said find the right mentors. So just because someone's older than you or they have a good job or they're a good family person or they're a good person, period, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the right mentor or the right fit. I think it's important to find someone that you can really relate to and can really get you and really help you. I actually have two mentors, and they're two very different people, but I make a really, really important point to constantly talk to them. One of my mentors actually lives in Los Angeles with his family, and I make a point to call him every week, and if that means like avoiding watching the game or going to see my friends, or I just make sure that I talk to him because I know that he has my best interests at heart, and it's really important for me to surround myself with people that are constantly pushing me to be the best that I can be. So, and I said mentors, you don't need to just have one. You can have multiple mentors. It could be family members too, but it's just really important to find those people. And really just have fun along the way. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride of life. I know that society tries to make things that you should be doing maybe seem not cool. I know that it's considered cool to do the wrong things, but I want to tell you that it's cool to do the right things. I think it's cool to go to class. I think it's cool to play sports. I think it's cool to go to the gym. I think it's cool to work on your game, whatever it is. And it's just really, really important to constantly put in that repetition and really have fun with what you're doing. Have fun going to school and enjoy this time of your life. And also have balance too. Hang out with your friends. For me, I love sports, so I love on Sunday when football season's on to just throw on a game. I love at night when I get home and if I don't have anything to do, I'll throw on SportsCenter, or I'll throw on a game and watch it and just relax or go catch up with some of my really good friends. It's important to have balance too. So I'm not telling you not to have fun and hang out with your friends and enjoy yourself, but just be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of the people that you surround yourselves with, and just smile and laugh. Just smile and laugh and enjoy life. So yeah, that really kind of wraps up the conversation I wanted to have. Any questions? Anything? Hey.
How do you find the right mentors for what you're aspiring for?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think sometimes they can find you in the strangest way. For me, actually, my mentor that I talked about that lives in Los Angeles, I remember when I was a freshman in college and I was taking math, and I'm like terrible at math. It's like not my class, not my subject. And I remember that someone had recommended that I meet with him, and I really didn't want to. I was kind of like, I don't want to do this, But we ended up really getting along. We ended up, playing basketball together, hanging out. And to this, he's the guy that lives in Los Angeles, and to this day, we talk every week, and he's actually been the person that's inspired me to be a speaker, and he's pushed me to be the best in everything that I do. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's like, filling out an application. It's like, you'll be surprised people that you'll run into. So it might be a teacher, it might be a counselor at school, it might be a coach, or just someone that you might know that's a little bit older than you. So I just think it's important to always have an open mind to who, you never know who's who. That's the other thing, is like, you really never know who knows who or who's connected, or you might not realize who someone might be. Like, you might look at them and not realize that they have a great job or they've been very successful in their career. So I think it's just important to always be aware of that. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, awesome. I think that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And what's your name? Candace, nice to meet you. Harry.
And then along those same lines, then what does the conversation look like when you're having this weekly conversation with him? What do you guys talk about? What do you guys talk about?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Harry. So we actually talk about goals that we make for each other. So going into every year, we create a new list of goals. So for this year, he spoke to me about goals that I should make for reaching out to different schools and starting to speak to more and more students. And he's actually a professional singer. He's a musician. He sings at like House of Blues, LA, a bunch of different large music venues. And we just really push each other to have strong goals, and we'll remind each other of what we're doing every week. Oh, guess what? I just spoke at Triton College. Oh, guess what? I just performed at the House of Blues. So we'll just really hold each other accountable for goals that we have. So I think that, especially for athletes, maybe they can get linked up to someone that's playing a sport and really push each other with their goals. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. Any other questions?
I got one.
Yeah, there you go.
I've coached a lot of kids, and the ones that are goal-oriented seems to work. The profile that you're talking about, working with kids on different levels. And how does a person that's not goal-oriented become more goal-oriented, basically? How do they be, with a person that's not really driven by success, how do they start creating measurables and quantifying success for themselves if they're not goal-oriented?
That's a really good question too. That's a tough one. I think that everyone needs to find something that drives them. I think that, like you said, there are people that are more goal-oriented than the next person. But there's got to be something that drives you in life. I think maybe it's a tough experience that you went through, maybe like Jimmy Butler, how he used his experience growing up to really fuel him to be the best at what he did. For me, looking at the past that I used to live that I'm not proud of, it makes me always want to be the best version of myself, and not make those mistakes again. So I think that, again, I always say it's hard to help someone that doesn't want to help themselves at all. So I think that there's got to be some kind of desire from within. But I think that there could be many different ways that you create that desire. It could come from many different types of things. Does that make sense? Do you agree, or
Well,
what do you think?
I think the real answer is, let's just say I'm goal-oriented and you're goal-oriented, and four other people are goal-oriented. We can talk about ourselves and mentor ourselves. But I'm concerned with that genre of kid that I have coached that doesn't have a motivation, has a bad story, but doesn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Falling in the pit and doesn't know how to get out of the pit. How do you help that group of people that are not self-motivated to get up in the morning and look in the mirror at 7 o'clock in the morning and say, I'm going to do it?
Yeah.
How do you help that group of people? And that group of people is getting larger.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise.
I think it goes back to, Candace was your name, right? I think it kind of goes back to Candace's question about, I think it's really important to have an open mind. And like I said, you never know who is who or who knows who. It's amazing the people that I've ran into in my life that are extremely successful in all different types of careers and fields. And if I had not treated them with respect, or I had maybe not interacted with them the way that I did, I would have not learned something from them or had that connection. So I really want to encourage everyone in this room to really be aware that you never know who you meet. You never know who that person is, and they can help you get to places that I think you cannot even imagine. You know, back to when I met my mentor, I really didn't want to meet him. I was not. It was something I did not want to do at all, but it ended up being a life-changing moment for me. So I just, you know, while you're in school, you know, like I said, your professors, your counselors, your coaches, people that you may run into from different schools, just really keep an open mind of who's who and how they can maybe help you along the way. I think having an open mind would probably be the best way, because I know that everyone's not as goal-oriented, and but having an open mind, I think, can help a lot. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. I just want to show a quick video clip of actually Deion Sanders. He's actually one of the greatest athletes of all time. He was a Hall of Fame football player and a great baseball player. He now coaches hundreds of athletes, and he actually started his this is actually a camp that he has with the top 50 football players in the nation, and I just want to show this to you. This is about 10 seconds, and then we'll wrap it up.
Feel good. We feel good. We play good. We play good. It's all good. It's all good. We look good. We look good. We feel good. We feel good. We play good. We play good. It's all good. It's all good. Let's run off on the
All right, we look good, we feel good, we play good, it's all good. My name's Tyler Kleeman. Thank you so much, Triton College. Peace.